I see you winning American Idol, if you want to. That was superstar judge Katy Perry, talking to an 18-year-old kid from a small town in Washington. His name was Benson Boone, and in the first few weeks of American Idol season 19, he wasn't just another contestant, he was the chosen one. The judges were floored, fans were hooked, and his path to victory seemed totally inevitable. He was the predicted winner, the boy next door with a voice that could move mountains. So just as America was getting ready to vote, right before the live shows, did he completely vanish from the competition? This wasn't just a case of dropping out. This was a calculated risk, a high-stakes gamble that would either end in total obscurity or a level of fame that a reality show could never guarantee. The real reason he walked away is a story you have to hear, a choice that swapped a potential TV trophy for global stardom on his own terms. This is what really happened to Benson Boone. Before the blinding lights of the American Idol stage and the chart-topping hits, Benson Boone was just a kid from Monroe, Washington. Born on June 25, 2002, into a tight-knit family with 4 sisters, his life was all about school, sports, and community. He was a talented diver on his high school's team, even placing 6th in the state. That tells you something about his discipline and love for taking risks, a trait that would pretty much define his entire career. But a global pop star? That wasn't even on his radar. In fact, for most of his teens, Benson didn't even know he could sing. The discovery was a total accident. During his junior year, a friend was putting a group together for the school's Battle of the Bands. She needed a piano player, and Benson, who had taken some lessons, kind of fit the bill. He was just supposed to play the keys, but when it was time to perform, the band's lead singer got stage fright and backed out. Just as they were about to call it quits, his friend turned to him. With nothing to lose, Benson stepped up to the mic. He'd never sung in public before. No training, no technique, just pure, untapped power, and something just clicked. That night, in front of his classmates, he unleashed a voice that was powerful, raspy, and full of feeling that no one, least of all him, knew he had. The crowd went nuts. In that moment, a spark was lit. That one performance changed everything. Music went from a hobby to his main passion. He started writing and, most importantly, sharing his work on the one platform where a kid from a small town could find a global audience overnight, TikTok. He dove in headfirst, posting raw, authentic videos from his car or living room. And people connected with it. By the time American Idol came calling, he wasn't a total unknown. He'd already built a following of over 1.7 million people hanging on his every note. He had momentum, a fanbase, and a sense of who he wanted to be as an artist, all before the industry machine ever got involved. When American Idol producers scouted him in 2021, the 18-year-old Benson Boone had only been singing seriously for about a year. When he walked into that audition room, he had this unique mix of small-town humility and the quiet confidence of someone who'd already connected with millions online. The judges, Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry, were about to see it firsthand. He chose to sing Punchline by Aiden Martin, a song that demands serious emotional vulnerability. The second he sat at the piano, the energy in the room shifted. The voice that came out of him wasn't the voice of a rookie, it was seasoned, textured, and incredibly sincere. The judges were stunned. Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie gave him a standing ovation. Luke Bryan joked about how young he was but called his voice a gift from God. But it was Katy Perry's reaction that really defined his time on the show. She couldn't believe how new he was to his own talent. She leaned forward and made a bold prediction that would become an iconic soundbite: "They're gonna swoon over Benson Boone." Then, she delivered the line that would frame the whole mystery of his departure: "I'm gonna tell you something you may not believe. But if you believe it, it might happen. I see you winning American Idol, if you want to." In the world of reality TV, it doesn't get any clearer than that. The show was setting him up as the one to beat. He sailed through Hollywood Week, and though most of it happened off camera, he successfully secured a spot in the top 24. This was it. The last step before the live shows, where America gets to vote. He had done everything right. The judges had basically crowned him. The story was written and then, he was gone. Fans who had followed his journey were eagerly waiting to see him in the live shows. He had made the top 24, a fact confirmed later. But when the episode revealing the contestants aired, his name was nowhere to be found. There was no dramatic onstage goodbye or explanation from Ryan Seacrest. He was just gone. In his place was Anneli List, a talented singer who had been eliminated but was suddenly brought back. The swap was jarring and left viewers completely confused. The internet exploded with theories. Was he disqualified? Was there a scandal? Did he crack under the pressure? The silence from the show and from Benson himself only added fuel to the fire. For weeks, one question echoed across social media: what happened to Benson Boone? The frontrunner had vanished right when his star was supposed to shine brightest. It was one of the most mysterious exits in the show's history. But what the public didn't know was that this wasn't an act of surrender. It was a rebellion. The answer to the mystery wasn't a scandal. It was found in Benson Boone's own surprisingly clear-eyed understanding of his own ambition. Months later, in interviews, especially on the Zach Sang Show, he laid out his reasoning. The core reason was simple but profound: he refused to be labeled. "The reason I quit American Idol is because I wanted to do music," he explained. "I don't want people to be like, oh, Benson Boone. American Idol blew him up. That's where he comes from. No. I want to be Benson Boone because I write smash hits and they love my music. That's why I quit. I just didn't want that label on me." Think about that. An 18-year-old, on the verge of fame that people dream of, was already playing the long game. He knew that being on Idol comes with a brand. You become the Idol guy, your story forever tied to a TV show. For many, that's the goal. For Benson, it felt like a creative cage. He also admitted, "I didn't really know who I wanted to be as an artist yet, and I didn't want to show the world someone I'm not." He felt he was still finding his sound and didn't want his first big introduction to the world to be a work in progress packaged for TV. This wasn't an impulsive choice. It was a strategic one. "I think I'm a big risk taker and that's how I've been my whole life," he said, comparing the decision to cliff jumping. This was the biggest leap of his life, away from a guaranteed safety net into the shark-infested waters of the music industry. He also gave huge credit to his parents. He recalled the tough conversation with his mom and dad, who knew nothing about the music business and were, understandably, confused. Why would their son walk away from a golden ticket? He explained his vision, telling them he didn't want the American Idol kid label for life. In that crucial moment, they didn't push him to take the safe route. They trusted him. "I think it was because they believed in me that I really thought I could do it," Boone shared. So, the vanishing act wasn't a failure, it was the first, most critical move of his career. He was betting on himself. He walked away from being the next American Idol for the chance to be the first Benson Boone. Quitting Idol was just the start. The real work began the second he walked away. He didn't disappear, he went all in on building his career his way, using the platform that gave him his start, TikTok. He understood something crucial about modern music. As he put it, social media is the biggest opportunity to get people to know you personally. He wanted to be more than just a song to them. So he doubled down, sharing raw, unfiltered snippets of his creative process. Fans heard hooks and choruses long before they were finished, giving them a sense of investment in his journey. This was a direct, authentic conversation with his audience, and it worked. His following kept exploding, and the buzz grew even louder than it had been on Idol. This organic groundswell caught the attention of someone very important, Dan Reynolds, the frontman of Imagine Dragons. Reynolds, a savvy musician himself, saw not just a rare talent but an artist with a clear vision and the guts to chase it. He didn't just offer Boone a record deal, he offered him a partnership, signing him to his own label, Night Street Records, under the massive Warner Records umbrella. This was a game changer. It gave Benson the creative freedom of a small, artist-run label with the marketing muscle of a major player like Warner. It was the perfect setup. The deal was announced on October 15, 2021, along with his very first single. This was the moment the world would find out if his massive gamble paid off. With the backing of Dan Reynolds and Warner Records, Benson Boone released Ghost Town. The song was his official debut, a powerful, piano-driven ballad about lost love. It showcased everything that made him special: his soulful voice, his gift for melody, and his raw honesty. The response was immediate. Ghost Town wasn't just a TikTok hit, it was a global smash. It charted in over a dozen countries and, most impressively, cracked the US Billboard Hot 100. For a debut artist, that's a huge achievement. He had done it. He proved he didn't need American Idol. He kicked the door down himself. He followed up with more successful releases, like the emotionally charged In the Stars, which became a certified platinum hit. But in early 2024, he released a song that would become a true cultural phenomenon, Beautiful Things. Beautiful Things was a masterpiece of tension and release, starting as a quiet prayer of gratitude before exploding into a desperate, rock-infused plea not to lose it all. It was vulnerable, powerful, and insanely catchy. The song completely took over the internet. The commercial success was staggering. Beautiful Things topped charts around the world and soared to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. It became a multi-platinum mega-hit and cemented his status not just as a rising star, but as a full-fledged pop powerhouse. His debut album, Fireworks and Rollerblades, released in April 2024, capitalized on this success, debuting at number 6 on the Billboard 200. The kid who didn't want the American Idol guy label now had a global #1 hit and one of the biggest songs on the planet. His vindication was complete. The success of Beautiful Things and Fireworks and Rollerblades opened doors to the kind of opportunities reserved for music's A-list. First, a call came from the biggest star on the planet. Taylor Swift personally selected Benson Boone to be an opening act for her record-breaking Eras tour. Specifically, he opened her show on June 23, 2024, at London's legendary Wembley Stadium, in front of 90,000 fans. Swift herself announced it, saying, "I chose artists whose music I love listening to." Standing on that stage was a moment of pure triumph, a cosign from the queen of the music industry. The industry accolades started pouring in, too. He earned multiple nominations at the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards, including for the coveted Best New Artist award. While he didn't take home that prize, he won the VMA for Best Alternative Video for Beautiful Things. Standing on that stage, accepting an award, was a full-circle moment. It was validation from the very industry he had so boldly defied, and his journey is only accelerating. He has since announced a massive headlining world tour for 2025 in support of his sophomore album, American Heart. The tour includes dates at iconic arenas across North America and Europe, from Madison Square Garden in New York to the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The boy who worried about a TV show label is now a global touring force with an empire he built himself, brick by brick. The gamble didn't just pay off, it hit a jackpot beyond anyone's wildest dreams. The story of what happened to Benson Boone is more than just reality show trivia. It's a modern lesson in art, authenticity, and ambition. When he walked away from American Idol, many saw it as a huge mistake. But they were looking at the world through an old lens. Boone saw the future. He understood that an artist no longer has to wait to be discovered, they can build their own kingdom. He chose the harder path, the one that required more work, more risk, and an unshakable belief in his own vision. He traded the instant fame of television for the slower, more meaningful process of building a real connection with his audience. His departure from American Idol wasn't about quitting. It was a declaration of independence. And in doing so, he became a trailblazer for a new generation of artists, proving that the most powerful label you can have is your own name. He didn't need to win American Idol because he was too busy winning the entire music industry on his own terms. What do you think? Was walking away from a guaranteed shot at fame the riskiest move of his life, or the smartest? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the journeys of your favorite artists.